the same vision that the Nation of Islam had to strengthen the black man, to make him better, to make him smarter, to make him wiser, to make him a better family man, to make him realize that, to make the black man independent, to make him an entrepreneur. We've lost touch on that. And so I recommend everybody, this book you can find still in publication. You can go to any mosque, any Nation of Islam mosque, any bookstore. Let's just say for those who are lazy and don't get out still in 2017, you can go to Amazon. You can go to Amazon and you can order this book. And I'm going to get into another book that goes with this, but this book is actually going to be a show by itself, because I want to really have a conversation with some brothers out there, and some of you ladies too as well, to touch some of us, to touch some of these brothers' souls to realize, man, hey, we all we got at the end of the day. I'm so passionate about us being strong and being united, but ain't none of us perfect. Now, I ain't talking about protesting and singing kumbayas, and I ain't talking about holding hands. I'm talking about us being united, simply united together, because it's amazing what we can do united. And that's a bigger purpose, and that's a bigger vision that don't want us to be, that doesn't want us to be strong. And we constantly keep weakening our men by just emasculating men, period, with so many things that didn't fly when we were younger. When we were growing up, and our parents were growing up, just things weren't accepted that a man could do, and now it's just like it's just beyond belief that what we accept and allow men to do. So that's going to be a subject in hand, but I really want to get a chance to really pick up and read this book. I know some people still don't read books in 2017, but for those who do, please pick up this book. And why I'm so passionate about this is because the Nation of Islam, with the instruction of Elijah Muhammad, during the 60s, right? During the 60s, he had an adaptation of Black Wall Street, and he tried to implement it through the Nation of Islam. Let me tell you why the reason Elijah Muhammad was attacked and ridiculed during the 60s. So his plans were he had a blueprint showing how to strengthen black communities by having a black bank, having black grocery stores, grocery markets, by having black farms through black agriculture. And so therefore the purpose for this was because you can know where and where your money is going, and it revolves in the community. 2, what you eat and what you put in your body, you know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly what you're putting in your body. Now, this was the 60s, right? And so the only thing left from that vision is the Salam bakeries, which a lot of them are up north, mostly really in the few headquarters where the Nation of Islam is. Now, I'm from Chicago, of course, and the Nation of Islam is still a powerful movement because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I apologize, is still alive and kicking, and the Nation of Islam still incorporates these ideologies. And what these ideologies is to have a real genuine black community where it's not about separatism, right? It's about separating certain things where we can control. We should be able to control what we eat. Black farming, black agriculture the farming system alone came from us, period. Let me take you, do I need to touch on slavery for you to realize that we were the farmers? I'm not talking about just picking cotton. I'm talking about through the transatlantic slave trade, you had sugar, right? in the Caribbean that them white folks didn't know how to cut sugar cane and how to extract sugar from sugar canes. Tobacco plants, right? All this is warm culture. All this goes back to Black African American, to African culture, to Black culture, however you want to say it. But we are the originators of everything. And the vision of Elijah Muhammad was to take that back and to be able to implement that into our everyday communities and everyday lives across the country, where therefore we didn't have to depend on other races providing us simple, healthy meals or providing us government handouts because we couldn't afford to pay these high prices groceries. I was in a grocery store during that time. You can farm for yourself and you can fend for yourself. And then people think that's just like an outdated belief now. We're so quick we think Whole Foods is like God's gift to vegetarians or to healthy living. And truth be told, a lot of that stuff you can be doing yourself. A lot of stuff that's organic. Do you know what makes stuff organic? A lot of stuff that makes organic is that the FDA, the Food Drug Administration, says if you have a certain percentage of X, Y, and Z, that determines whether or not your food is considered organic. So what you're paying for is a notch up on a certain preservative, non-preservative, or etc. to make it organic, and now you can charge $1 million for a tomato, or $1 million for this product, or this soy-based or non-soy-based product, or this and that. So please, people, don't forget, man, we were the originators of this, and let's not get off task on things we could be simplifying. I remember my grandmother growing up in the heart of Chicago, in the city of Chicago. I'm from the city, born and raised. And in my grandmother's backyard, she had a vegetable bin. She had a vegetable garden, I'm sorry. She had greens, tomatoes, and that's mainly that. That's what she had, because that's what I think. And we don't have that no more. People think that's like stuff you do in the country. No, this was in the city. But I'm gonna tell you, other races have adapted that practice. If you look at Asians, period, their agriculture, their landscape and the agriculture game is on point. Right? You don't never see a Mexican cutting Asian grass, Asian Middle Eastern. An Asian person's grass. No, they do it themselves because they take pride in it. They take pride in agriculture because that's their thing. They take pride in earth. Why did we stop doing that? That's something to think about. There's no reason why we stopped doing that. There's no reason why we should have stopped doing that. Like I said, we are the originators of earth. This is our world. This is where we should be taking pride into. But I don't want to get deep into that. What I do want to get into the fact is that the fact that we got off task from the belief and the vision, and it wasn't a religion thing. See, all these churches do it, and they adapt these ideologies and try to make it and real churchy and this and that. But this man had it for his people, and said in order for black people to survive, this is what's needed so we can stop taking handouts, so we can be economically sound. Now, he did, at the time during the civil rights movement, people felt like he preached hate and this and that, and it came off because you got to understand that before he was Elijah Muhammad, before he became a self-educated black man, he had to deal with Jim Crow. He had to deal with the real racism before the civil rights movement. So his passion of bettering his people and his community, it had honestly a little bit of hate in it. Because how would you feel that for so many years that you had to witness? He witnessed the ending of slavery. His grandparents, his parents. So of course, when you had the opportunity to lead black people to a whole different belief and to get them disciplined and to get them on the right track, a little bit of hate came out because it's like he was attacking the system. And it just so happened the system happened to be predominantly Anglo-Saxon, Caucasian, however you want to look at it. So because of that, it became controversy in the black community. And so you had church leaders stand up and speak against it. And it became really church versus mosque, or it became Muslims versus Christians, because black people during the time, and I got to be honest, were too ignorant to try to learn something different. And because of that, you had so much division amongst African Americans. They like, oh no, we don't want to do what the Muslims do. I mean, in the movie Malcolm X, they tried to hint on it, but they didn't dwell on it enough for me to show you how divided, because they thought all this man preached was hate. But he wasn't with, the Nation of Islam wasn't with the turn the other cheek situation. They were definitely about bettering their people and standing up for what you believe in, not turning the other cheek. And so during that time, during the 60s, you developed the Malcolm Negro, the Malcolm X Negro, and you developed the Martin Luther King Negro. You developed the by any means necessary, and you developed the turn the other cheek Negro. You truly developed those type of people, and those people had kids, and they taught the same beliefs. So mind you, we have a continuous circle going on of those type of two individuals, instead of working together and understanding, hey, we're all in this together. But turning the other cheek is getting you hit on the other side of the cheek. But when you can stand up and say, hey, you're not going to hit this cheek, I'm going to hit yours. Or I'm not going to allow you. And see, it was never to strike with violence first. It was always to protect your community, to protect your black woman, to protect your family. Not take an ass whooping so my kids and my family could see me get my ass whooped and be submissive to a person or to a race or to a system that all they wanted to do was oppress me. So the Nation of Islam was trying to get black folks out of oppression and out of depression. And the black church during the time was promoting oppression and depression. I want you to really look at it. The passive Negroes during that time frame, right, rose up and stood up against and was definitely like, no, we're not with the Nation of Islam. We're not with that. And this man wanted to change and strengthen his community based upon a simple blueprint plan. And that plan was simple. Have your own. Other races have their own. They had their own. Have your own agriculture. Have your own banking system. Get that money revolving in your community. And if you got that, what do you need from anybody? We will hold each other accountable. And when you hold people accountable, when you hold your own accountable, it only makes it better. You want to know why certain neighborhoods look better? Certain non-black or African American, however you want to say it, communities look better because they hold each other accountable. They work and build together. They have no problems doing that. But we do. And I want you to understand that's really an issue. It's really, really, really an issue in our community. So, again, I want to thank for those who are tuning in right now, WSUT Radio, Simply United Together Radio, the Mancave Show. And really getting into the situation of just a recap of the second book of the month is Message to the Black Man by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And if you missed my first book of the month, is The Souls of Black Folks. I'm sorry, I like to say black folks. The Souls of Black Folk by W.E.B. Du Bois. So, like I said, feel free to call in if you have any recommendations for books too as well. I have a whole list that I'm going to be giving out. But if you had a book that's touched your soul, that has your attention, or you may be curious about it, and I may have read it, and we can talk about it, call in 470-485-2065. Or after watching this show, you can log in on the speaker app website. That's SPREAKER, and I'll send a link on my page, my Facebook page, and my Instagram page. and you can send me a message and say, hey, I read this book.